Henry podcast and talk.
It's it's your host with all of y'all. It's Henry. It's Henry. And what's here?
Burrito.
Yeah,
That's good, man.
burrito.
All right, what are we talking about today? What is it?
Today we're going to be talking about the next game in the Tekken franchise. We talked about the PS1 series with Tekken 1 through 3. We went through the PS2 era as well with Tekken 4 and 5. And now we're moving on to the PS3 era, talking about the next game in the series, the next mainline one, Tekken 6.
Awesome.
Can you just remind us what happened at the end of Tekken 5 with the story?
So at the end of Tekken 5, Jin ends up defeating his great-grandfather, Jinpachi Mishima, and takes over the Mishima Zaibatsu, the most strongest, incoming place of all time. And I just want to say this, that in the starting part of Tekken 6, he commits World War III. I'm not even joking. Jin straight up just spends the money that he has on the Zaibatsu to just start World War III, like start spreading chaos and everything around the universe. And the only people that were able to stop him was G Corporation specifically about Kazuya. During the events of Tekken 5, Kazuya goes over to G Corps and just kills all the people that were going against him, and he becomes the true leader of G Corp. And so he fights against Jin and trying to stop him, and the people have their favors on that, but he's not doing this for like good reasons. He's doing these for bad reasons. He's taking the people's side. The people are taking his side because they don't like what Jin's doing to the world. And so eventually what happens is that Jin ends up having to deal with this, and also Kazuya ends up trying to deal with Jin, and he's trying to, take him down because he wants to go after world domination. Kazuya's after world domination. We don't know why Jin's starting World War III yet until with the story. But we do meet two new characters into the story mode. We meet Lars Alexanderson and Elisa Balskatovich.
Cool.
Lars Alexanderson is basically Heihachi's bastardized son. And he's also Jin's uncle, and I think I think Kazuya's brother or something. Yeah, I think he's Kazuya's brother technically.
He's Jinpachi's son.
He's a relative of Jinpachi. Yeah, Heihachi's Jinpachi's son. Yeah.
No, yeah, but Lars Alexander is Jinpachi's son?
No, he's Heihachi's bastardized son.
He's Heihachi's son. Okay,
one
so
of his
he makes
sons.
him
Yeah,
Kazuya's brother.
by default.
Jin's
yeah.
uncle.
Yeah, but throughout the story, Lars and Elisa are basically discovering and going through people and talking about the whole universe and trying to find out information about the whole thing that Jin's doing. And so probably he gets to cross paths with Kazuya and the others, and he's pretty much trying his best to find the answers about what's going on, about which one is right or not. And when he ends up meets fates with Jin ends up telling him exactly why he's, starting World War III. It's to bring out this devil by the name of Azazel. He's the creator of the devil gene. Like, he's the reason why Kazuya and all the others have the devil gene, but specifically his mother, I think. She has the devil gene. She passed it down to Kazuya. Kazuya made a child with Jun and then gave half of his devil gene to Jin, which is the reason. And Jin says that he's been hearing thoughts, and Azazel's been exchanging thoughts with him about how he can come back. And the reason is that the only way how Azazel's able to come back is by spreading chaos to the world. So like if the world's engulfed with a lot of despair and scared and a scared like attitude or something like that, then he comes back, and he could keep coming back as long as someone in the world exists with the devil gene. From what I'm hearing, yeah, Harada, the creator, I think he did say that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Like,
so Azazel? How do you say it?
Azazel.
Azazel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is he like a spirit?
Well, not really. He's more. I would say like he's more. Kind of like a spirit, because he's technically just like he's part of the physical plane that we get, but he's. I'm not sure how to say this. He's more like I guess yeah. He's kind of like an ancient spirit that wakes up every time when the hate and despair in the world goes up
to threshold.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Wow. And he's in. Azazel is technically the bad guy.
Well, technically, people say that Jin's the bad guy, and a lot of people started to say that Tekken 6 was really a big downfall for the series because a lot of people like to say that people who really love Jin just really hated how he turned a 180 and just committed this World War III thing.
Yeah.
And eventually it was really hard for people to really like Jin now because of how he did everything, and he's a lot more forceful in his decisions and a lot more ruthless, and a lot of people didn't like that. Me personally, I didn't mind that. I mean, Jin is doing this for a good cause, but he's sacrificing things in order to be able to do this. That's why.
So his Jin's goal is to defeat Azazel.
Azazel, yeah.
Azazel,
He can only
but
be
at the cost of humanity.
no, but at the
essentially.
cost of of him basically making enemies with a lot of other people in the world. So he ends up, and the only way how you kill Azazel is technically if you're a person who has the devil gene, you can kill him. If you don't, he's just gonna be unfazed by that and just comes back stronger. Eventually, like, Jin does defeat Azazel in the end and punches him to the point where he destroys him, but he ends up falling with him onto a ravine, and apparently we thought that Jin was dead, but he's actually alive after the end credits of Tekken 6.
So now on Tekken 6, is this the first PS3 game?
Yes, it is the very first PS3 game that got
Okay.
into the consoles. Well, technically, like, with Tekken games, first there was an arcade game that released out first, and then the console version came out. Except the PS3's, hardware system wasn't able to make the game look as gorgeously looking as the arcade version.
Mm.
So if you want to play the best version of Tekken 6, you got to play the arcade version. The
That's
one
interesting. But I will say this version of Tekken must have sold pretty well because on the cover that you brought in it says greatest hits.
yeah.
PS3 greatest hits. So this must have been one of their best selling games, huh?
I guess so, but it didn't come out properly well when it came to sales wise, because when it came to sales wise, it didn't sell as much as Tekken 5 or Tekken 3. And a lot of people like to say that Tekken 6 was a huge downfall for a series because people didn't really like how, like I said, they didn't like what they did with Jin, and they didn't like some of the things that they did with them. But I think what they were doing was, I guess, pretty much decently fine. I didn't think the game flopped. I think the game is still pretty good. I just feel like that the game just gets a lot of unfair hate for no reason.
So the gameplay's good though.
Well, yeah, of course. I think Tekken 6 ended up changing a lot. Devil Jin's moveset changed a lot more differently. They gave him a much more part with his wings. Like, he has an attack where you press the right kick and then up, and then being able to make him fly by kicking the opponent, and can do a strike attack now. It's cool. I use it a lot, but I personally prefer how he does with Tekken 5, where it was just his moveset from Tekken 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Tekken 5 was the black sheep, right? I
No,
think
that was Tekken 4.
Tekken 4 is the black sheep. So this one is better than Tekken 4, right?
Well, yeah. Personally, yeah, I would say that it's better than Tekken 4 because it's still very, competitive with people. And a lot of people, it was very competitive back at the time when it released out.
Are there online capabilities with this one?
Yeah, this was probably like one of the first few Tekken games that come with online multiplayer.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Did that change the dynamic of like the Tekken community at all?
Yeah, because a
Being able
lot
to
of
play
people
online?
were able to do it, but the net code wasn't really all the best sometimes. Sometimes it had errors, sometimes it didn't, but most of the times, like, it didn't happen. You would mostly just have a normal casual match with people online.
Cool.
I'm all about offline play. Yeah, it is the first. Well, was it also PS3 was the first one that you could go online? Like PS2, you couldn't go online.
Yeah, you couldn't go online.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Tekken 5 was a game that could you go online until you got the PS3 port of the game.
Got you. Still favorite player to play with?
I would say it'd probably be Devil Jin still. I still really like Devil Jin's new moveset in this one, but I mostly sometimes go back to normal Jin, and I think his new moveset is pretty well done in this one.
I noticed in the book that they don't have all the players
Well,
or all the fighters like
Well-
listed in there. You know what I mean? Are they all still the same?
well,
Or similar to 5, I guess.
Well, they're all still the same, but they added like a few new characters into the mix. Like, we get Miguel. His story is basically that, while Jin was doing all the war, his sister got into the war fire when she was about to get married by somebody, and then she eventually died by by the explosion that Jin committed near the wedding part, and Miguel strived to basically hate to try and kill Jin, and that's why his whole goal was like that, to try and kill him. And I mean, I can understand that. I mean, his sister was someone very important to him, and Jin just started this whole war and never cared about people's well-beings.
Yeah. Can you talk to us about the soundtrack?
I say that Tekken 6's soundtrack is pretty well done, honestly. It's probably one of my favorite soundtracks to hear, and sometimes I say it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite song?
Electric Fountain.
Electric Fountain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to take a quick pause and listen to that real quick.
Most definitely. Yeah, no, the music sounds, not that the other songs sounded old, but like this one, it definitely has like a modern sound to it.
Yeah.
Like more,
It's clean. It's
really,
hi-fi. It's
that's the thing. I really like the drop that it plays. Like the drop from Electric Fountain's drop just really, they build it up. And then, the build-up of it was really great. And then the drop, then when they immediately hit the drop, it's just so amazing to hear.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and what year was this? Do you know?
Well, technically, I think it released out probably around the years where the PlayStation 3 dropped.
Okay. I'm trying to see. Yeah, different sound.
Yeah.
Still cool.
Very cool.
I think the older ones, they'll get you more hyped. This
Yeah.
one gets you hyped, but the other ones were like crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll say that Tekken 6 is pretty much a really good video game. I do like the soundtrack for this one. It's probably one of my favorites to hear nowadays. I feel like that Tekken 6 is a pretty good video game overall. I think it's a pretty good one. For me, I give it probably about an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5 out of 10. Cool.
All right. Not bad.
Not bad, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right on. So how does this one end, and where do we transition to 7 then?
Well, it ends off with Jin basically taking out Azazel, and then Raven. Okay, Raven is technically part of like the UN government or something like that, and they find Jin's body in the desert after he falls into the ravine, and then just finds him. Then they just take him, and they take him with them to just, I guess, the government location.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
All right.
The government takes his body. That
sounds cool.
Sounds
safe. All right. Should we wrap it up?
I guess so. I definitely say that Tekken 6 is a pretty good game, and overall, I think the game is pretty good, and I feel like that some people who gave it a lot of hate back in the day just didn't really understand what made it really great, in my opinion. I feel like Tekken 6 has a pretty good charm to it. It has a pretty good soundtrack. I think the story is just trying to pick up to where it's leaving off, and it's trying to finish it. I think that's what the creating team is trying to do. They're just trying to finish off the story with the Mishimas, and that's it.
Got you. All right, cool. Should we wrap this one?
Yep.
Sweet.
All right, thanks for joining us.
See you with the next one.
Later.